All right, welcome back everyone to Collegiate Karting League. This is a Division 5 match against FIU Gold and Georgia Tech. This is a very interesting match tonight. Both teams here are undefeated. So this is going to be very interesting to see which team will keep that undefeated streak going here tonight.
Yes, I agree. For the lineups here for FIU Gold, we have Botan, Evan Michael, Roy, Koopa, Sansray, Silver, and Starter Cat. And for Georgia Tech, we have Abriel, Air Hockey, F. Kane, Goofy Go, Miorio, and Ninja Guy '04. So this is definitely going to be a really good match to me for two undefeated teams in Division 3.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very interesting matchup tonight. And it's probably worth mentioning here that Air Hockey and Abriel on the side of Georgia Tech currently ranked number 1 and number 5 in their division just since their scoring averages, with both them having 135 and 120 averages respectively in their matches so far. But also, we have on the side of FIU Gold, we have Botan, who's third in average right now, scoring 129. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see all these very strong players going up against each other tonight.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of hard hitters on both sides. I've also had the honor of playing against Evan and Silver in my earlier seasons of CKL, so I'm glad to see they're still up and kicking. And obviously, I got to play, had the honor of playing against Star the Cat, also all really good players. So I'm hopeful that this is going to be a very good match to watch here. I'm personally going for Georgia Tech, but I think FIU has the pieces to totally like win this match.
Absolutely. And it is worth mentioning Georgia Tech is also still a very new team. This is, I believe, their first season in CKL. So with them to be already on an undefeated streak is pretty insane to see. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go up against seasoned veterans like FIU Gold.
Definitely. All
All right,
right,
and it
well,
looks
we're
like
in the lobby right now. Yeah, it looks like they have 12. No, it's like 11 in there.
looks like 12 to me, but I could be
Yeah.
miscounting. There is a me hidden by
Oh,
the overlay, unfortunately.
yeah. uh,
So we
the
should be
entire
starting
cast knows I can't
soon.
count.
It's okay. It's classic. Cast curse. It's all good.
All good, yeah.
All right, but we should be starting pretty soon here with the first track. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what the opening tracks will be here from both teams. Unfortunately, I don't think we know the starting positions for the players here, but I imagine we will be seeing on the side of FAO Gold, since they are the host, they have that starting one position, which is incredibly strong, especially in wars like this. So it'll be very interesting to see what their
Mhm.
first pick will be.
Yeah, if you have top spots, there's a lot of running tracks. Like my personal team's favorites are Sunshine, Bowser's Castle, and Mount Wario. But so just tracks where it's very hard for the opponent to catch back up on. But there's also 1-0 tracks that I personally like, such as in my opinion, Shroom Ridge or Dragon Driftway, where you get a double box at the first set so that it be able to defend yourself. So there's definitely a lot of options for that number one spot to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you here with runners. Definitely tracks like Bowser's Castle. I'd honestly also throw in like maybe Daisy Cruise or Rosalina's Ice World if they're comfortable driving those.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot of options for both teams to pick here. We haven't even talked about Georgia Tech. Even if they have some top spots here, it'll be very easy for them to choose some great shroomers or drafters that'll give them an early advantage, like LA Laps or even like Royal Raceway
Or
maybe.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, absolutely. Or
Amsterdam,
Amsterdam.
Athens, anti ones to get the number one, get to the person in first out, and then they could create a running situation for themselves. There's a lot of options here for both teams to choose.
Yeah, definitely. There's a
Guess we're just
lot of
waiting for
different
them to start.
options. Be very interesting to
Mm-hmm.
see what these two teams pick. Personally, I'm not too sure what tracks these two teams are very comfortable with, but it'll be very interesting to see what they pick off the rip. I think those opening picks usually can tell you a lot about a team.
Definitely. To try to set up an identity for themselves with the first race. The first race means a lot, especially in Mario Kart, where mental definitely plays a factor in wars. Getting those first couple of races out to start off is getting those strong races to start off is really important for a team. And if they can maintain those wins or like take even small losses, it could definitely you could definitely decide your match. The first 3-4 races of a war, and we're about to start.
Yeah, definitely. That first GP, like you said, is so crucial here. I believe in these wars. You have 12 races, you have 3 Grand Prix, but that first Grand Prix, I think, is the most important. It looks like we are seeing Sunshine Airport from, I believe, FIU Gold here. And we are seeing N64
Yep.
Rainbow Road from, I believe, Georgia Tech. Definitely interesting track picks here. And I think they tell us a lot about both these starting spots and maybe their strategies. You know, definitely N64 Rainbow Road being such a strong drafter. Definitely indicative of what I think they believe their strong suit to be. But Sunshine Airport also being such a strong runner for Team FIU Gold is also such an interesting pick.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like FIU Gold has top 6. I want to say that since all their names are like stacked up against each other. Sunshine is a really good track for runners, especially with the shroom spots. But Trainbow is also a really good drafter, which we're about to see right here, which allows the bottom spots to come back up with drafts, and it creates like mixed up situations in the mid pack. So we're about to see it right here, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. These opening
And here we
moments
go.
in Trainbow are so crucial for this track. You know, getting those drafts, like you said, because once you get that draft and you end up in the front, it's very easy to stay in the front. And if you get stuck in the pack, you just got to be ready for a very, very chaotic race. And as we see here, this pack is so close, just off the gate. We are seeing a few people run away. Yes, we are seeing those drafts. We did see Gorf seeming to get hit out by the Chomp there, but we are seeing here Air Hockey maintaining that front spot, holding on to that second place spot, which is also such an important strategy here in Mario Kart 8, holding on to that second spot and waiting for maybe a blue shell to take over first near the end. But Meowrio also having such a strong front run here, this could be very easy for them to run away with, and especially as we see some slight drifting fails here from Air Hockey, still maintaining pretty close lead. But we will have to see as this track progresses.
Okay. Yes, and this definitely look like a top 2 for Georgia Tech right now as we reach the final lap. What Air Hockey could probably do here is probably play a little bit more protection for it. Or look, Blue's out, and Hawk is gonna probably take the Shroom here. Gonna dodge Blue here with Shroom, and and it looks like it's probably still a top 2 for Georgia Tech.
Absolutely,
and
that's
free
definitely
first for Air Hockey at least.
Yeah, the first for Air Hockey. Definitely a smart play here from Georgia Tech to get that easy first here. Waiting for Blue Shell to come out for Air Hockey to use that Shroom is such a strong.
Nice.
Ooh. We see Silver from FIU getting second. That 1-3-4-5 is still quite strong. It's still quite strong for Georgia Tech here. That second place is definitely going to stop the bleeding a little bit for FIU, but we still have a 20-point advantage here for Georgia Tech.
Yep. And here we go. Water Park, one of Air Hockey's strongest runners, at least from what I've noticed playing with him. And he's really good on this track. And I feel like, he'll be able to maintain tops if he does have the opportunity to choose this track. As we switch over to FIU Evan Michael's side, and they decide what track they want to go on.
Yes, I believe we did see a small glimpse of what track they picked. Unfortunately, I didn't see it as I was focusing on Georgia Tech, and it looks like they're opting to choose Yoshi's Circuit here. Definitely a strong track, especially given their placements here. Being in a lot of bottom spots, Yoshi's Circuit is such a strong track for bagging. You know, you can get those shrooms. If you get bullets, there's that really strong extension in the waterfall. And like I said, shrooms are super important on this track. There's so many good shroom cuts you can take, a lot of good nisks as well. Definitely makes it a strong track, but we are getting Water Park. So definitely Georgia Tech looking forward to that Water Park pick here. Definitely great for them getting that runner right after getting so many top spots.
I agree. This is one of those tracks where there's barely any shortcuts. It's just a lot of running, and with the lack of shortcuts, it's going to be very hard for FIU to catch up unless they make like noise immediately. If they're not able to like take Georgia Tech out of their top spots immediately, this is going to be really bad for them.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely one of those tracks where you want to get a top spot early so you can run away with it. But it's also worth mentioning there is also a super strong strategy here of going for shock. You know, we could see someone from FIU maybe get hit out, right off the rip from the pack and choose to bag here, which is such a strong strategy, even on runners, I feel like. Especially runners with small shortcuts like this. When you have a shroom and there's a shock that hits, you can gain a lot of time against your opponents. We are seeing some slight glider vectoring fails and getting fired out from Evan Michael here by, I'm not sure which player that is. We can't see the name tag, unfortunately. It looks like it was Roy firing out Evan Michael. And as we go into lap 2, we are seeing a very heavy mix of placements for both teams here. We're seeing the pack is also very close. This is definitely going to be a tough race to stay ahead in. And it looks like it's still anybody's game for this race so far. We do see someone from Georgia Tech get hit out there, which is definitely unfortunate for them, but they
Yeah.
do have that point cushion too. We see Evan Michael taking the shortcut, going into this next glider section, opting to not grab those coins, which is definitely an interesting choice. And as we go
This
into
is
lap
at
3, this is
FIU
looking
top
very
4
good for
right
FIU.
now.
This is
Yeah,
looking
really,
very
really
good for
good.
FIU. This is
Yeah,
definitely a
now
spot
the
they want to
turn,
be
now the
in.
tables turned. The
Yeah,
tables turn on Georgia
absolutely.
Tech. Now it's really hard for them to catch up,
Absolutely. This is
unless they
absolutely
pull
the
shotgun.
position you want to be in when you're FIU here. Being, 20 points behind, getting that top 4 is going to be so crucial to making up that lost difference here.
As we switch over to air hockey side, he's trying to make a final push into those top spots. As he accidentally hits it to the cone, as Georgia Tech tries to make a final push to the spots, but it's looking like a top 4 at least for FIU. And Georgia and air hockey finishes 7th, as it looks like FIU gets a top
Oh,
6. Oh my
we see a
god!
fridge. Oh my
A
goodness, that is
fridge is
insane.
insane. That's oh my god.
I have no words. That's
What a start! What a start to this match! Oh my god!
an insane shock from FIU here. Getting that fridge, that shock at the end, I believe securing them that fridge. Absolutely insane play here from FIU Gold, and definitely putting them in a very strong position here going into race 3. Being 20 points ahead of Georgia Tech here is definitely great. We are seeing that Sunshine Airport pick here from FIU again. Definitely a super strong runner. Definitely the track they want to pick here. We are seeing, I believe, Tokyo here from the side of Georgia Tech. Definitely a smart choice here
Mm-hmm.
to choose this track, especially right after getting fridged. But we'll have to see how this plays out and what track gets picked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. As a Tokyo Blur gets picked, a really good track for back spots. As there's a lot of you guys start off with a lot of coins, and it helps the people in the bottom spots get back up to the top. So we're gonna see how this works here.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into this race is definitely going to be an interesting, very interesting race to say the least. That coin advantage, like you mentioned, is going to be super, super important here for Georgia Tech, looking to make back those lost points from race 2 here. And we are seeing air hockey get into first pretty
Ooh.
quickly, almost trailing out his teammate, throwing the green. Oh my goodness. Already though at 5 coins here, definitely a good advantage here. Going for the Nisk, nailing it. Going up into third or first with that rang in their hand. We're seeing Kane here also in first with a red. Definitely a very good spot for Georgia Tech to be here right after lap 1.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a top 2 situation for Georgia Tech here as they try to maintain it. I think somebody probably got hit out behind. Does it? No, it looks like it's a top 3 situation for Georgia Tech right now as they're heading into the second lap. All going for the miss, and he does it perfectly. Really good driving here by air hockey and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Air hockey here showing why he's number 1 in average score in this division so far. Unfortunately, going to get hit out by this blue shell, but with the breakaway they've obtained, it's not going to be too much of a hit here for Georgia Tech. We are seeing Georgia Tech here in the top spots, and it looks like we see an accidental team kill, which is very unfortunate here for Georgia Tech, but we are seeing, I believe, top 5 GT here. Ooh, running into that thwomp. Definitely unfortunate. And I believe that's another team kill. Again, so unfortunate. But we are going into these final moments of race 3, and having, I believe, top 4 or top 5 right now is definitely very, very strong here for Georgia Tech.
Jesus Christ. Georgia Tech and FIU throwing haymakers at each other right now. We're getting top 20s, top plus 40s, plus 20s, another plus 20. Like, oh my goodness, just haymakers throwing back and forth at each other. This is definitely going to be a good match.
Absolutely. And we did see that top 3 here from Georgia Tech, I believe. Definitely bringing that score gap to very much closer here. Now being down only at 8 points. Definitely the position Georgia Tech wants to be in after that race. And getting that top 3 is so important here because now they have a lot of options for what tracks they want to run.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is probably like a Paris Promenade. Yeah. Also another one of air hockey stronger tracks. Paris Promenade also a track with like barely any shortcuts, so it's really good to maintain tops with. But as we obviously saw with the water park situation, that FIU is definitely no slouches when it comes to getting their top spots, getting back into the race. So we're definitely going to see whether Twisted Mansion or Paris Promenade right here as we do go to Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into Paris, this is definitely the situation you want to be in if you are Georgia Tech. This is a great track to be in when you have top three, top three six too, especially super strong, especially because in six you can pull a shroom and do a lot of good stuff here. But we'll have to see how this race plays out because, like we saw in Water Park, like you said, FIU can recover pretty well. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And as we start the race, we got a top three from Georgia Tech, but FIU's coming into the mix. The top spots are still establishing, and Hawk gets redded out by I guess a FIU player, and it looks like Georgia Tech is still holding it up, but FIU is definitely up there right now.
That was definitely a smart choice by Air Hockey that we saw right before we swapped to Evan Maiko, choosing to throw that red in favor of grabbing the double box to maybe grab some better items. Especially being in ninth, you have a lot of great items available to you. You have Star, Bullet, Ghost, even Shock sometimes, depending on the placement of first. So that was definitely the right choice to go here. And as we go into Evan Michael, we're just seeing some great driving. We are seeing a 2-3 from FIU, but Georgia Tech holding on to that first spot here, throwing the red. And it is going to hit Meowrio here, putting FIU Gold in a great spot here, especially holding this horn. They can dodge blue here with it.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing some great driving here from Evan Michael, avoiding all of these obstacles like it's nothing. Perfect drive here, grabbing those 2 coins.
Yeah, Evan Michael bringing the horn to the function. If blue comes out, they could throw it in. Hey, and then he's able to maintain first. But it looks like Georgia Tech is behind him. If they do have a blue shot, I would recommend not throwing it because if he does, then Evan is left with no defense, and that could be really bad for them.
Yeah, absolutely. But it also is worth mentioning, I believe FIU is in bottom spots here, so they could also have Shock, which is definitely an interesting play here. Seeing how much farther ahead Evan Maiko is here compared to some of the other members of Georgia Tech here, it does make sense for maybe FIU's holding on to the Shock until Evan passes first, then use it to maybe try to get a couple top spots out here from Georgia Tech. 'Cause like we're seeing here, Air Hockey in third, throwing this fire. Mario getting hit by the blue. Unsure if that was a Mario Kart lag moment or if that was just a misplay with the horn. But we are going to see an FIU first, but Georgia Tech taking 2 through 5. Definitely holding on to their lead and expanding it a little bit here in this fourth race.
And that is another like plus 16. We've had 4 double-digit wins from either side in these last 4 races. There's no holding back from these players. It's either a big loss or a big win from either team.
Absolutely. We are seeing that score lead go to plus 10 in favor of Georgia Tech here. And Georgia Tech maybe looking to get that anti-1 pick here. You know, having, I believe it was 2 through 4. Choosing to go for Wee Rainbow Road, definitely an interesting strategy here. Having so many top spots, it definitely makes sense with Wee Rainbow Road being one of the strongest runners in the game. We are seeing FIU Gold also opt for Yoshi's Island again. And like we said, it's such a strong bagging track.
Mm-hmm. I do agree, especially with the bill extension on Yoshi's circuit. Yeah, that circuit. The bill extension, if long as you don't pass to like enough people in the spots, you could go from the waterfall all the way to like I don't know how to explain the area, Yoshi's Tail, I guess. And that's like a real far way you can go on the track. So, but we get Rainbow Road. This is like a very long track. You know, a lot of things can happen. I don't consider it a runner. I just honestly consider it a resetter, a track that like anything can happen on it due to how long it is with the shocks and blues and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That is also worth mentioning. This is, I believe it's one of the longest tracks in the game, making this a very good track for looking for those shocks and blues, like you said. But that being said, there is also a lot of very strong driving skills you need to play this track well. And we are seeing Air Hockey start off by getting 4 coins, which is so strong, especially here in first, opting to go off the half pipe here, maybe looking for the boost to take this cut, and they take it perfectly. Right behind them, Silver from FIU, choosing to trail here. Definitely a smart choice with Silver right behind them. And as we go into this next set, we do see that air hockey has double red defense, which is quite strong to have, especially in first place.
And as we have to reach the end of the first lap, it looks like it's a mix. It's still a mix of Georgia Tech and FIU players, but it looks like Georgia Tech has the 1-3 situation right now with Evan in second place. No, that's not Evan. That's Silver. Wait, actually, no. Yeah, FIU is actually getting behind air hockey right now. This looks like a 2-3-4 situation for FIU.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing in the minimap, the pack, we are seeing a lot of these blue Yoshis in the front. We are seeing FIU, in the front of the pack here, which is definitely great for FIU. They're definitely going to be able to make up a lot of those pack points. We are seeing the shot come out here in the middle of lap 2, right before the glider. Definitely a very strong shock here, especially now that air hockey is going to be in the smaller form for a long time. They do regain there. We are seeing blue right after shock. Oh no. We are going to see FIU steal that first place here from air hockey. We are seeing, I believe, 1-3-4 from FIU on We Rainbow Road here as we go into lap 3.
Yeah, definitely. That shock was really good for FIU. It looked like somebody dodged in like 3, and it looks like it was Bolton, and now they're running away with it. It looks like a 1-3-4-5 situation for FIU with Hawk as the last defense for Georgia Tech. If they get Hawk out here, this could be a really good race for FIU, if not already.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing FIU in a lot of these top spots, air hockey being the only exception here in second. Choosing to use the shimmer around this corner, definitely a smart choice here. Going into this glider second, going into the final moments of We Rainbow Road here. Definitely going to be interesting to see. We are seeing another blue shell come out. We also do see air hockey with the horn. So if Bowdoin decides to drop here, which they don't, we could see air hockey break it. But air hockey now with horn red in first. Another shock hitting right before the boost pads, though. Right before the boost pads makes us not too big of a loss here for air hockey. Air hockey able to secure the first place here. But it does look like FIU is going to get 2-3. Unless, oh no, someone did get hit out. We will have to see what the final standings are for this race. But I believe this is going to be a relatively even. We are seeing 2-4 from FIU. Kane getting 5th. Yeah. Definitely a great race for FIU here.
The first relatively calm race of this war so far. That definitely looked like a Georgia Tech shock from the way it was set up. Like from glance, you think it was an FIU shock because the way of how like one of the FIU players dodged high up. But it looks like they Hawk called it so he could get on boost panels and finish the race without lots of trouble and hopefully get some of the Georgia Tech players up there that had dodges. But it looked like a relatively calm race.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite seeing 2 shocks and 2 blues, this was a relatively calm race. We didn't really see a lot of people getting hit out in the pack. But we are seeing 2 very interesting track picks here from Georgia Tech and FIU Gold. We are seeing Athens come out here from, I believe, FIU. Definitely a very strong anti-1 pick. We are seeing Georgia Tech here opt for Mount Wario. Definitely an interesting choice. I don't see Mount Wario getting played too often in competitive, but it's definitely a very, very strong track if you can play it well.
Definitely. Mount Wario is definitely a skill check. It's definitely a skill check. As somebody who plays it, there's a lot of sections where you do need to learn some tech to get good, and if you don't know some of the tech, you will get exposed. As we reached into the 6th race of the war, Georgia Tech is up by 4, and here we go, Mount Wario.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, there's so much tech on this track that this almost becomes a knowledge check here for both teams. But we are seeing, I believe, Georgia Tech picking this, looking to maybe take advantage of that knowledge check here, maybe see if FIU can really drive this track, how well versed they are, and how much depth their team has.
Definitely. It definitely looks like a mix of spots right now. The tops are establishing. Some people getting hit out, but it looks like, let's see. It looks like a 1-3 situation for FIU right now. We have Bolton and Evan up here with Abro fighting as well. Yeah, it looks like a top 2 right now for FIU.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see, we see Evan Michael get hit out here, getting passed by Yario and Silver, but FIU still has that 1-3-4 here, and as Evan Michael makes the way back up into 2, it is also worth mentioning, we did see Botan holding the horn here, which is such a strong thing in order for Botan to have here in first. because like we saw in the past, like we mentioned on Wee Rainbow Road, that horn does allow them to break the blue shell.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And Botan looking like he's about to get a little breakaway as we have a top two. Let's see. Oh wait, no, never mind. The Georgia Tech players are coming back up, and they're coming back up strong. We got two. We got a 2-3-4 situation with Georgia Tech and 1-5 for FIU. Well, both teams making a push up here in this final stretch of Mount Wario.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely going to be a nail biter of a track here in this match of FAU versus Georgia Tech. As we go into these final turns, we do see Michael get hit out, but we are watching air hockey here in 3, looking to secure at the bare minimum a 2-3 here for Georgia Tech, looking to maybe try to snipe whoever's in first on the side of FIU. But those greens can smart bounce like we see from air hockey here.
No.
Oh no! And they're getting redded. Oh no! A monumental blunder from air hockey here, getting last. But Georgia Tech also still getting 2 through 5. Such a strong placement here for Georgia Tech, and they are going to continue to hold on to their score lead and widen that gap in race 6.
Definitely, and I do agree that was a good race for Georgia Tech, but Hawk knew better than to throw all those greens up. He knows that section has a lot of walls, and it's just gonna keep bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. And the angles are kind of crazy. Shout out Angle, but the angles are kind of crazy. So yeah, that smart bounce was just bound to happen. Either that, or he was gonna hit out April to look like, but luckily he didn't.
Yeah, definitely. With the ending of Mount Mario being on such a narrow section of track, it is so difficult to avoid smart bounces or just avoid greens in general near that ending. So definitely, I think a bit of a misplay for air hockey to throw those greens, and unfortunately getting last. But we'll have to see what happens here now. And going into track 7, we are seeing Yoshi Circuit being picked again, but we're also seeing Grumble Volcano being voted for the first time this match. We are going to see Yoshi Circuit for, I believe this was the third time it got voted. So it's going to be a very interesting track to see.
Yes, definitely. Yoshi Circuit, a really talented bagger. Not I just called a track talented. Really good bagger with of course the bill extension as I mentioned earlier, and Shock is very prominent on this map. So both teams are definitely going to be looking for it. As we see Hawk backing up for Georgia Tech, and it looks like Sans Ray of FIU is backing up for FIU. There's a couple other people back, probably trying to run up dodges in case the shock does come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a very important strategy here on Yoshi's Circuit is having someone do that bagging here right at the start. Those coins being so close to the finish line makes it very easy to just back up and get those coins without fear of really getting disconnected, as that is unfortunately a bit of a trick here with Mario Kart 8. You can get disconnected if you go backwards a little too long. So seeing air hockey grab those coins, definitely going up to 8 coins right at the start of the race is so important here for making that recovery here. Having both a star and a bullet in 10 here as he starts lap 2, also a great position to be in, especially with that bullet extension. And as we flip over to Evan Michael here in first with 3 shrooms, definitely a great spot to be in. Opting to use one of those shrooms to get through that cut. Definitely a smart choice here, especially with those extra shrooms. Burning up all of their shrooms here on lap 2 to try to get ahead and get that breakaway. They do have such a strong breakaway. Oh no, running into the banana. That is going to lose them quite a bit of their breakaway here. But they are still going to maintain first as we start lap 3. They're going to get redded, but that shock hits, preventing that red from actually hitting Evan. But they're now in such a really bad spot, you know, now needing to grab coins, but also going to be small for so long since they got shocked in first, and they do get flattened by Mario, but they are going to recover quite well. Air hockey here in 9th, looking to recover some spots here for Georgia Tech. As we are seeing Georgia Tech in a lot of low spots here. We are seeing Georgia Tech in 7, 8, 9, and we're seeing a second shock. Oh my goodness, someone dodged with shock in pocket. Oh my goodness.
And that Georgia Tech player is coming up, and they're gonna come up on that FIU player. This is looking really good for Georgia Tech right here to able to get that FIU player out. Looks like a 2, 3, 4, 5, but the FIU player does get first. But Georgia Tech does end up with the 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 as well. And yep, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Really good race for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, definitely a really strong race here for Georgia Tech. Definitely what they wanted to see out of this Yoshi circuit. Like we said last race, continuing to widen that score gap they have here over FIU Gold. Going into race 8 here, having that advantage is going to be so strong because like we've said, momentum is such an important thing here in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, definitely. Momentum is very strong here, but both teams still not like still haven't made a huge break or like a huge difference right here. Georgia Tech, well, right now only up 22 after I believe that was race 7 that just happened. So there's definitely more than enough time, and the lead is definitely comebackable for FIU. So no team has been able to make a breakaway yet, but it has been a very entertaining match so far for both sides.
Absolutely. This match has been such a nail biter the whole time. Being only a 22-point difference going into race 8 is such a close match. This can really still be anybody's game here.
Definitely. And as we reach for a raceway, another very popular bagger in the CKL community. Shock is pretty strong here, but also the shortcut at the end of the lap before the last item set is also really strong. So both teams will obviously be looking for shrooms and maybe like stars and other things to have a very good chance of winning the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see Evan getting trailed out by, I believe that was Mario, a slight team kill here. But on lap 1,
Hmm.
especially on a bagging track like this, it's not going to matter too much. Evan Michael looking to just recover some placements here, maybe get some coins, go into this glider section. With 5 coins in a stream is quite strong here. Be interesting to see if they opt to go for the shortcut here that skips the set, but they choose not to and instead shroom through the set and unfortunately only grabs a single box, but does pull a star, which is so strong, especially on Royal Raceway. Like we mentioned, this being a bagging track, items like dodges like stars and shrooms, they're all so strong on this track and allow you to make some really quick and insane comebacks here.
Evan, that star just let Evan skip a great portion of the track, and he's already up here and back up here in 7 as he's trying to make a push back up into the top spots. We have what looks like a mix of Georgia Tech and FIU here, but a little more FIU in here, but Georgia Tech still has the top spot.
Yeah, definitely. We are seeing here air hockey maintaining that first spot here, running Royal Raceway. Definitely very interesting to see here. But as we go into lap 3, this is where it starts to get really scary. This is where, people may start to pull shocks or start to pull bullets. And it's going to be very interesting to see if air hockey's able to hold on to their first here. Going for this Nisk, hitting it perfectly, putting a banana right before the Nisk also. But losing the red shell defense and being unable to pull out that banana in time to defend themselves against that red is so unfortunate, but they still hold on to their first place here, trailing out. I believe that was Evan.
Oh,
Oh, no.
that's a good Nana.
Oh, but Evan
But that leaves
managing to
Hawk
stay
wide
on the
open.
track.
That does leave Hawk wide open. They're trying to red him out. They're trying to coordinate reds. And they were able to get him out, but Abriel comes up in the star, and Abriel's going to get first place for Georgia Tech. But this looks like a 2, probably 3, 4 situation for FIU.
Absolutely. A great play here from FIU to try to take out air hockey. And we do see air hockey get 11th, but we are seeing that 2, 3, 4, 6 situation from FIU, giving them a little bit of a point advantage here in race 8, closing that score lead that Georgia Tech has against FIU Gold, as we now see that score lead drop down to only 10 points. And as we go into the final Grand Prix here, a 10-point difference is so little. This is still anybody's game. This is a nail-biter of a match.
Yep, it could be. It could literally be. FIU could literally take the lead next race. Like this match is very good. Both undefeated teams. This was a really good prime time. In my opinion, both undefeated teams definitely not showing no fall. They're both keep going as FI it looks like FIU Georgia Tech chooses Sydney Sprint and FIU chooses Athens Dash. Both one an anti one, probably to get Abriel out of tops and a drafter for Georgia Tech and Sydney Sprint.
Yes, and we are going to be going into Sydney Sprint here for the first race of our last Grand Prix here, race 9 of this match. And with that 10-point difference here between FIU Gold and Georgia Tech, This is going to be such an important race here for both teams. Both for Georgia Tech to hold on to their lead and expand it into this final Grand Prix, but also for FIU Gold to start to make a comeback here, because this is where they need to make that comeback. Right now, right here on Sydney Sprint, set them up perfectly for this last GP.
Yep, no, it's definitely the nerves are probably hitting now in this final GP. Both teams realize that now it's time to make the push to either extend the lead, or now it's time to make a comeback. Not much time left. So as we get here in Sydney Sprint, looks like Evan is taking up the coins, getting away from all the chaos, and he's coming back into the chaos, trying to get more coins or trying to establish tops for FIU, as it looks like a 1-4 situation for FIU.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a great spot for FIU to be in here, having that 1-4. We are seeing Evan get that kill on second place here from GT to take away that second spot from them, which is also so strong to have here. And as they have the Shroom here, not using the cut here, maybe looking to use this later on in a different cut. Definitely still a very good spot for FIU to be in here with Evan being in second. But as we see that red shell and no item to defend against it, Evan is going to fall to fourth, but we do see Sands take up that second place for FIU. FIU now having that 2-4, but Georgia Tech having 1-3. Definitely not a great spot for FIU to be in here, especially already being down 10. Evan getting this plant, opting to use it instantly. Mario in the line of fire here from this plant. Maybe getting hit out, we'll have to see. Evan also instantly using the star to chain it into the set, which is such a strong option here. Looking to maybe make up some lost time here. Try to maybe take out air hockey here. But we'll have to see as they throw all of their bananas to try to maybe snipe air hockey out. Taking a little bit of a wide line to avoid those bananas. But Evan and Michael still holding on to their items here, trying to get air hockey out of first place here. But with this 2-3, this is still looking very good, very doable for FIU Gold.
Definitely. No, this is with oh, and a shock happens. It looks like it's a FIU shock as somebody's coming up in a star slowly, and it looks like a 2-3-4 right now for FIU, and another person is also in star. This is looking like a really good situation for FIU right here as they try to make the final push to get out air hockey, and it looks like they were able to take him out, and FIU and they're getting him out again. And he's taking him out so far.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god!
Amazing plays here from FIU, taking out air hockey in the last couple seconds to steal that first place from them. Evan getting first place. FIU getting 1-3-4 here in race 9 is so important for FIU here to get that score lead and maybe even up the scoreline or even take over Georgia Tech here in the scoreline, which we are seeing from FIU Gold here, going now 10 points ahead in race 9 here. And as we go into race 10, it'll definitely be interesting to see what Georgia Tech and FIU Gold here pick.
Yeah, that ending is like the type of stuff that happens in my dreams. The fire. He hits him out with the fire. Airhawk thinks he's chilling, then he hits him out with the fire again, and then Sandra thinks he's in one, and then he hit himself with the fire. Truly like a certified hood classic right there, right here. As FIU Gold takes the lead up 10 with 3 races left to go.
Absolutely. And we are seeing here Koopa Cape versus Neo Bowser City and a random Sunset Wilds.
I don't know. You could probably say better than me. I don't know what with that.
That's okay. Well, we are going to see Koopa Cape here. Definitely a very technical track, just like we saw with some of the other tracks we've seen picked this game. Looks like these teams are opting for a lot of these really kind of technical tracks, really kind of knowledge check their opponents here.
Yeah, definitely. I did not want to see Sunset Wilds gameplay in the Big 2025. So thank goodness we're here in Koopa Cape. Koopa Cape is a really good track for the mid spots. If you pull a shroom, you know the shroom spot where the shroom up, this is the golden. Considering that there's only one item set on the track, and the other item sets you have to go like out of your way to get, and you lose time. Like a person that gets a breakaway, they just keep the breakaway for good on Koopa Cape. As we see, does it look like money shroomers actually for either side? But FIU does have the tops right now.
Yeah, we did not see a lot of shrooms here come out of this first item set, but we are seeing, it looks like Georgia Tech may be starting to take the lead here, but FIU holding on to that first place is going to be so important here on this track, especially with, like you said, there being only one item set. This track really depends on your ability to drive over your ability to play around your items.
Definitely, I agree. As we see here, Evan in 6 with a red and a rank, definitely is able to take out the Georgia Tech player, and he's establishing, probably trying to get out the other Georgia Tech players with his items. In 4 right now, it's looking like a one. Is this a top 4 for? No, not yet. But it looks like it's really good for FIU right now. Top 3 fighting for top 4 right now for FIU.
Absolutely, but we are seeing Georgia Tech not letting them run away with this easily. Georgia Tech starting to get into these upper spots here, especially as we go into lap 3. That is so important, especially because once everyone's past that last item set, there's no guarantee of any items at all on this track. So we could see Georgia Tech just run away with this in lap 3, which it looks like we're starting to see here with Georgia Tech start to take spots 3 and 4. It looks like they might have spot 2, but FIU still has that position in first here. So we will have to see what their breakaway will be able to do.
Yeah, definitely. Now it looks like a 2-3-4 for Georgia Tech, as both Abril and Hockey are able to get the shrooms. They're coming up on FIU Star, and this is probably the best opportunity to take to get her out. It looks like Hawk will probably wait until the straightaway to probably throw the fire up, probably tell Abril to go left, and he's probably going to try to throw the fire up. Oh, and fire gets ghosted. Oh my god. It looks like Star gets first here for FIU, but it looks like a 2-3-4 right now for Georgia Tech.
That is such an unfortunate ghost pull for Georgia Tech here, really relying on that fire to maybe take out Star and steal the top 2 here. But Georgia Tech getting 2 through 6 is so strong here. They're going to take back the score lead here in race 10. This is really coming down to the last race here, as we've been seeing this scoreline go back and forth this entire match. And the score lead is only a 2-point difference going into race 11. Race 11 could be the most important race of this match. We'll have to see which team runs away with the score lead after this race.
Yeah, a good race for either team here will set a very, very high mental for the winning team and a very low mental for the losing team. Because if we get a haymaker race, if you get a plus 20 here, knowing that you just have to maintain it for one more race, a plus 24 will be a really good mindset to have. And if you're the losing team, you're thinking everything in your power, like, oh my god, we got to make up 24 points in one race. So this 11th race is almost just as important as the 12th race.
Absolutely, and we are seeing FIU Gold's pick getting chosen here for race 11. We are going to MC3 here, Mario Circuit 3. Definitely a very strong track here for FIU Gold to pick. They do have that 1-0, which is such an awkward position to be in, and choosing Mario Circuit 3 here really makes a lot of sense. Being able to get a lot of those really strong items off the rip from that early set here, get a lot of shrooms, maybe shroom up later on, lap 2 and 3, and start to run at the end. But this is such a strong bagging track, which is really what FIU Gold here needs.
Yeah, and it looks like FIU Gold is sending 4 players back. This is a very big commitment for them right now. They're just letting Georgia Tech run, and Georgia Tech is taking advantage with it. But Georgia Tech is also allowing FIU to have every single shock odd spot. And this could be very problematic on a track like MC3, where shock is like the bane of it, is like the creation, the whole purpose of the track.
Absolutely. This is a very high risk, high reward strategy here for both teams. FIU Gold really banking on the ability to pull shock here on MC3, and Georgia Tech really kind of gambling that they won't pull shock. Chaining coin into the set here from Air Hockey. Having that banana in hand with a bomb in pocket is so strong in first. Definitely 2 of the strongest items you could have when you're running. But we are seeing this bullet start to make up a lot of spots, and it looks like that was from the side of FIU. And as we go into lap 3, FIU still in a lot of these bottom spots. This is a very scary position for FIU to be in unless they've pulled shock, and it looks like they're starting to use a lot of dodges, so we might see a shock here. But we'll have to see. We are seeing Evan start to shroom up here, get into 3rd place here. Starting to take over some of those top spots, taking a really nice line there, but getting redded out, unfortunately.
It's looking like a top 3 right now for top 3 right now for Georgia Tech right now as we reach the final stretch of the race. No, wait. It looks like Silver's the only FIU spot, and the shock finally comes out. FIU is making a final push up to the front. And it looks like FIU, and they got another shock. FIU is making a push, but they do get bottom 2 here. And Georgia Tech does end up with top 4, I think. That's a top 4 for Georgia Tech despite the 2 shocks in play for FIU.
That is such an unfortunate ending here for FIU. All of the stars aligning for FIU here at the end of lap 3, but unfortunately it happening a little too late, and Georgia Tech able to run away with that top 4 here on race 11, bringing that score lead now to 30 points going into this final track. This is it's going to be such a difficult track for FIU Gold here. They need to pick very, very wisely here. They need to essentially fridge Georgia Tech here on track on this last race in order to win. But as we've seen this match, fridges is possible. It's possible for both teams to fridge here. We can see it happen. We are seeing Cloud Top Cruise. Oh my goodness, I can't talk because I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited too.
Waluigi Stadium and DK Summit getting chosen here for this final track vote, and it looks like we are going to Waluigi Stadium for race 12 in this match of FIU Gold versus Georgia Tech.
And I'm getting word from my plug Ted Bear that like those were GT shots actually that helped them get the top 4, which is really cool. But you know, down only down you're down 30 now. This is the mental thing we were talking about. You basically need a top 5 to win this race, and a top 5 is going to be really hard to do, especially on a technical track like Waluigi Stadium. But of course, it's not their FIU is not down and out for the count. We will see if they're able to pull off the miracle here.
Absolutely, this is a very, very doable track for FIU Gold to come back on. We could see the reverse. I wouldn't call it a reverse sweep, but just an insane comeback here from FIU, as we are seeing them in a lot of middle spots here at the end of lap 1. But with 2 laps left, this could very easily shift into FIU's favor. We do see that Rang in spot 8, hitting out a couple FIU members, but FIU also holding the front of the pack quite well. And it looks like FIU in first as well. So definitely a very strong start for FIU here on this final track here. But air hockey in second is going to make this very difficult for FIU to recover from and maybe even pull off the win here.
Definitely. Air hockey's presence in the top, and as long as with Abro here is really strong for Georgia Tech. They just need 2 of the top 5 spots to win this race. Any other 2 of the top 5 spots, and they win this race. So that's what they're obviously aiming for. They're not aiming for an extremely good race. They're just aiming to lessen the damage. Just get any good spot that helps them get the win here.
Absolutely, and we are watching air hockey drive this track like it's a masterclass, pulling off every strategy perfectly here, taking such amazing lines. Going into lap 3, having that breakaway is so strong, especially with a Shroom in the pocket, even though FIU is right behind him. This is definitely going to be a nail-biter of an ending here for this match. But with air hockey in first, I believe they might be able to run away with this match off air hockey's first here. FIU holding a lot of these spots behind too, though. It's definitely scary as we go into these final turns. Air hockey looking. We see the double reds here come out from FIU and the blue. Oh my goodness! And the shock.
But it looks like air hockey gets 1, and that's game. The best they could get is a plus 22. That's game. Georgia Tech will take the win here in this match versus FIU. Though.
FIU getting 2 through 4 here, playing so well. Air hockey dropping 120 in this match is an insane performance. We did also see, I believe that was a 104 from someone on FIU. But with that, we are going to see Georgia Tech win by, I believe, 26 points. An insane ending to such a back and forth match here. Just insane performances all around. Hockey and Botan definitely the MVPs of this match, dropping 120 and 102 respectively.
Definitely, and this was still, despite the loss, FIU put up an amazing fight, even getting as much as a fridge. Getting a plus 40 is very hard. A top 6 really hard in Mario Kart. So to get that was a really good result for them. They put up a really good fight, but in the end, Georgia Tech does take the W here.
Absolutely. An insane performance here from both teams here, but just that really unfortunate Mario Circuit 3 here for FIU, allowing Georgia Tech to run away with this match right at the last second. Such a close scoreline the entire match. This was definitely an exciting match to watch.
Definitely. Oh my god. I'm so excited. Man, all the digit CKL are just so fun to watch. Jesus. That plus 40 got me hyped. I'm not gonna lie.
That fridge was an insane way to start this match in the first Grand Prix. Just an insane performances from both teams this entire match. Absolutely just I don't even know what to say. This was just such an amazing match to watch. And we will see Georgia Tech also hold on to their undefeated streak here in the season. FIU Gold, unfortunately, taking their first loss for the season.
Okay. And it looks like we're gonna also have to do an interview with air hockey in a bit. But yes, definitely. FIU Gold, that although 2-1, they still have a really strong start to the season. And I'm pretty sure that if when these teams meet again, that the run back is going to be insane. And they will definitely have a point to prove the next time round. But for now, Georgia Tech will take the victory here.
Absolutely. An insane performance from both teams. And like you said, FIU Gold taking their first L, but still being such a strong team here. You know, going up against these giants like Georgia Tech, having such strong players on that team and being able to hold their own here definitely tells a lot for FIU Gold here. Going to be very interesting to see how they play out the rest of the season.
Definitely. And here we have air hockey with us. So one of the captains of Georgia Tech, air hockey. How are you doing?
Hello. It's feeling good. You know, it's nice to be starting off 3-0. We definitely had to work a lot harder for that one than we have our first two wins. But this one has felt the most earned out of any of them so far, so I'm feeling very happy.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Happy to see y'all win. Uh, I did want to ask a question about the Yoshi Circuit map lore. You mentioned that there's a reason why we're not supposed to look at the Yoshi Circuit map. Is there a reason why we shouldn't do that? Can you like
Oh,
break it down for us?
I just think you could get distracted, and you could get distracted while you're driving, you know. And I think I think it's good. It's good to pay attention. You should always be paying attention to the road when you're on Yoshi Circuit, because you have to pull the bullet bill. And I didn't, and I did
Yes, of
that,
course.
but I was too distracted. I was too distracted to realize that I had to dodge the shock, and I suffered for it.
Unfortunate.
Definitely. Also, would you like to replay that Mount Wario race? What did you think was like? What was going through your head like through the last like final seconds when you threw those triple greens up? Like, did you like were you like thinking that yeah we could do this? Like we could like take him out? Like what was going through you? What was going through like the mindset?
I think in my mind, I incorrectly believed I was a good enough player to avoid those greens in the event that they missed or didn't break on each other. Um, and I think I should learn my lesson. I probably won't with plays like those, but they're always fun to make. You know, just having a little fun with throwing the greens up, and then sometimes you fall
Mhm.
from like third to 12th. My endivs will be suffering as a result, which I'm very sad about. But it's
Mhm.
it's okay.
I mean, hey, as what a lot of people say, indibs don't matter. A very common term used by a lot of people in the CKL community. I mean, how's the mental up in Georgia Tech now? 3-0. As you head out to your outer conference matches, do y'all think you have to take it all in the div? Take it all?
I don't want to make a claim that can then be proven wrong, because you know
Milk it.
I can only either say we'll take it and we do, and that's all well and good, or be wrong and then it's really embarrassing and everyone can use it against me forever. So I'll be measuredly optimistic about our chances, I think, is what I'll say.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, also like if it's just like really aggressive, people talk about it. You can always like like mute people, like your staff, just like mute them for like 7 weeks.
That is true. Yeah, I didn't think about using I
Oh
didn't think
no.
about doing mod abuse, but I'll keep that in mind for next time.
I mean, do you have any questions for Hawk here?
Yeah, can you run us through that Mario Circuit 3 here? Getting those two shocks at the end, that was definitely such an insane play, especially for Mario Circuit 3 here, seeing how you were running for most of that track. What was going through your head when your team pulled both of those shocks?
I can at least say the mindset going into the race was very much calling the shot of they over bag. And I just kind of knew once I pull a shroom, just shroom up and just hard run and just mess up their item pulls as much as possible. And I think that worked pretty well. I mean, I think, yes, it is a little bit luck that they didn't pull shock for that long, but also there is a reason there's an optimal shock pulling spot and none of them were at it. So that was very intentional to just get as much of a break as possible and mess up their pulls. And I think it worked out very well. I believe it was our biggest race of the entire match, actually. Looking at our warbot, yeah, that was a plus 28, biggest race we had the entire time.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Definitely a great race for you guys there, especially to make that recovery and, keep that score lead that you had till the end. And I believe we are starting to run out of time. So, Zay, do you have any final questions here for air hockey?
Uh, Not necessarily. I'm just really happy to see Air Hockey get the winning. Much good luck to his team as well as FIU Gold, and I'm hoping both teams have a really good semester. Have a really good semester Mario Kart wise. This could be a finals preview. Who knows?
Yeah,
Today
definitely.
will
We'll
be seeing
have to
each other
see.
again, so we'll see how the run back goes.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely have to see. And unfortunately, I believe we are out of time and we will have to say our goodbyes for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching this match. It's an insane match. My name's Emmy. We're with Zay. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. I love Kamala Harris.